There you go. Combined effect has got me so low. I need the good guys to win, I need to feel right. How could I be this wrong? I need to cheer and have it mean something. What more could I have done? A person needs to feel they can depend on our better angels to come through for the win. I need a win. My soul needs satisfying. I need a win. My soul needs satisfying. I need the thrill of victory. Defeat this agony. This season could have been a tonic distraction from the cool, with hopeless volunteers. Failed yet again to reach potential. I can't believe I let myself care. I need a win. My heart beats the blood. I need a win. Something decisively good. I need to taste champagne. Get my mind off of the pain. I'll say it again. I need a win. I need the thrill of victory. Defeat this agony. Put a W on the end. I need a win.
You're listening to the Bitter Resistors here on the All Over the Road show. Well, tell me a little bit about, working together, because, like you were talking about, Brandon recorded an album with you and you guys got along. What is it like being on the other side, making music with the person that you've already recorded, John?
Well, I don't know, Brandon's so open to ideas when we're recording that and I played bass. I was the bass player on his album, so I already kind of felt like I was a member of the band anyway, and I just love his songwriting approach, and so it just seemed real simple to me.
And we come from two different backgrounds of songwriting, and I think that both of us has kind of rubbed off on the other one. There's chord changes in these songs that I wouldn't do if I approached it. So I don't know, it's a lot of these songs to me reminds me of like they kind of got Beatles style chord changes for me. That's what I hear, and it's kind of I enjoy his writing. We just kind of mutual fans of each other. So I learn from him, and I think he learns from me.
Definitely.
Just different approach, you know.
Yeah, definitely, and I So yeah, I mean, I just admire his songwriting so much, and his ability to tell a story, and his ability to make it sound simple, but there's subtlety underneath what he's singing, and I don't know. So I knew I wanted to write with him, and it's just been, we're so respectful of each other. I think that it's really worked out well.
We tried, like, he's open to my ideas too. When we made Dark Side of the Mountain, there was times where I brought a song in, and like my song Devil Buys the Groceries, I brought that one in without even really having a clue where it was going to go. I only played it on acoustic guitar, and it ended up sounding more like a rock, almost pop song, completely different from what I do. But there was never a moment when I was objecting. I was like, yeah, let's keep doing that. If it sounded good, we kept it, and if it didn't, we tried something else. And that's kind of how we approach songwriting too. We just, whatever feels right, we do it.
Well, it's cool that, I mean, you know, your voices bring something up too, because that's, you know, I like both of your guys' voices and, you know, both your albums and stuff, but it's like, you never know how people's voices are gonna blend together.
It's true.
And you guys sound great together.
It gives me a chance to sing harmony too, which I don't hardly do,
Yeah.
you know, on my solo stuff. So, you know, I've played a lot in cover bands, and a friend of mine taught me how to sing harmony. Chad Money, if he's listening, I'll give him a shout out. He taught me how to sing harmony, and the way he did that was, I was having trouble with harmony. I could not find it. And he ended up saying to me one day, he's like, well, you know, you love the Beatles, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, can you tell the difference between McCartney's voice and Lennon's voice? And I said, yeah. And he's like, okay, can you tell the difference between Bill Monroe's voice and Jimmy Martin's voice? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. He's like, then just listen to their voice and follow what they do. So
Right.
I learned I remember like Ticket to Ride by the Beatles was one of the first songs I tried to do harmony on. It's really high.
Yeah.
When I sing, I sing a lower tone, but I can go up there. So it's fun doing it. It's fun to step back, and also with this lineup, playing this music, I can just sit back and let him sing, play lead guitar. So it's fun.
Yeah, we share the load, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really good. You ready to play some more?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do the truth you need.
This we recorded live, and we set up. We had Jeff Bills playing drums and Sarah Washington playing bass, and us two, and it just was such a fun night. And this song just came out really good. I can't wait to. Have we released this one yet? No, because we gotta finish it yet.
Yeah.
Some of these have like, oh, that needs pedal steel, and we're just waiting to get that part laid in. But this one just came out really good. It's a good song, great song. Oh, okay.
Shots rang out and the blood rolled down the sidewalk in a town most couldn't locate on the map. When the story broke and everyone began to talk, we took the bait and fell into the trap. Was that cop a racist pig with a vendetta? Was the victim a thug or a thief? Better keep on scrolling till you find the perfect headline, the one that holds the truth that you need. A madman opens fire at a nightclub. We've yet to see his face or hear his name. And suddenly everyone's an expert, pointing fingers and passing the blame. What God did that shooter believe in? Are they coming to take away my liberties? Better keep on scrolling till you find the perfect headline, the one that holds the truth that you need. Preconceived notions that's been brewing in your mind will guide your fingers to the facts you're wanting to find. Your favorite blogger on the web or channel anchor man keeps pushing the agenda. The viewer parrots like it's all a game. The hatred and the lies keep on spreading, while social media fans the flames. If you ever took a peek behind the curtain at the wizard who was pulling all the strings, would you wake up or just keep on believing in the ones that hold the truth that you need?
Listen to the Bitter Resistors here on WDVX's All Over the Road. Give a shout out to Case Conyers who's listening, and to Mark Linton over in Israel. And John, I was the name of the band that you were in before you started releasing solo stuff has slipped my mind. I remember My Friend Speed being one of the
French Broads?
French Broads.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the French Broads.
Yeah.
So how many different bands have you been in?
Well, there's a long list. In Knoxville, or
Let's just go Knoxville.
well, I was in a cheesy cover band when I was in college called the Units, and that's where I learned all the basic mechanics of playing gigs and touring and doing all those kinds of things. But then pretty soon I realized that people were responding to the songs we played, but they weren't really responding to us because they just recognized the songs we played, and I realized that we were just a human jukebox basically. So then I just quit that and moved away for a while. When I moved back to Knoxville, I started the French Broads, and we played for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I guess. And then let's see, I played in Angel and Lovemongers for a while. I formed my own band, Econopop, for a while. I played with Tim Lee for a while. Played in Brandon's band. I've played in, let's see.
High school.
Oh yeah, with High School, Jeff High
Yeah.
School. I'm still playing with him.
That's right.
About to release his newest record. It's fantastic. I'm super excited
Really
about
good.
it. So yeah, I mean, I keep myself busy. I like being a sideman because there's no pressure. You just show up and do your bit and you leave. But that is not a good release because I'm a songwriter as well, and so I still write songs, and I've got a couple I've got a new album just about done, and I'll maybe play a couple of those in a bit.
Cool. And of course, Brandon, it was the Real Billies. Was it always Brandon Fulson in the Real Billies? It's just the Real Billies.
It was the Real Billies for a long time. Before that, we were a band called Gunman Sidewalk. I found that name in a Johnny Cash album called Johnny Cash Sings Songs of the Old West, and the Gunman Sidewalk was the middle of the street. So I kind of thought, well, that'd be a cool name. So we went under that name for a while, and then we just kind of morphed into the Real Billies because no one could say Gunman Sidewalk. They kept calling us Guns and Sidewalks, or they would call us Gum on the Sidewalk. And so we changed our name, and it was like basically the same members of that band is what morphed into the Real Billies. So we did that for quite a while. Before that, I just played in a lot of different cover bands. I've always been a songwriter from the time I picked up the guitar, but I just ventured out and learned my chops playing in VFWs and Elks Lodges and places like that.
And sometimes that shows up in your songs.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to run down being in a cover band. I mean, it's like I think Brandon will agree with me. I mean, it teaches you a ton, and it's a thing. It's a come down, and when we had a marketing agent and a booking agent, and we were playing for like $1,500 a night, and then when I decided I wanted to play original music, if I made $50, I was super happy. But I don't know. I mean, I think
I've told this story before, probably on this show, was the way I was able to get away with doing original music and cover bands was I just began writing humor. And I began writing about the very people that was in the bar. And that's the only way I could get away with it. Otherwise, if I wrote some deep philosophical tune, that was everybody's cue to go to the bathroom and go get a beer. Like, it was one of those things that the minute you announce it too, like if you say, here's a song I wrote in an atmosphere like that, you tend to lose people. So I would just go straight into it and start singing about somebody in the crowd, or I would just lie and say this is an old Willie Nelson tune, you know, and I would play one of mine, and they would stick around, you know. So,
Well, you know, as far as cover bands go, I always remind everybody, you know, when people diss cover bands, the Beatles were a cover band.
Sure.
The Beatles were a cover band for about 4 years.
yeah.
It teaches the mechanics of songwriting. I mean, you
Yeah.
learn how when you learn someone else's songs, you learn how they construct a song, and that educates. If you're a songwriter, that educates your, like what chords you use.
Yeah.
And what happens too, I learned, is like if you start off playing someone's song, when you first learn it, you're playing it pretty close to how they do it. I remember one time we was on our way to a show, and we've been playing like Lonesome Andre and Mean by Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
We've been playing it for about 5 years, and I had kind of not listened to it in a long time. So one day we're on the way to the show, and it comes on, and it was a lot slower than we played it. It wasn't as distorted as we played it, you know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, we're playing that way different. But it was because like after a while, you learn the blueprint from the person,
Right.
but then you begin to put your own stamp on it as you go on. And pretty soon you get way away from the original version. Now you're kind of playing your own thing. And if you can just take that and morph it into songwriting, you kind of got something.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, as you develop as your own songwriter, even when you do a cover, I mean, now my view of covers when I put one in a set is, I don't want to cover something just exactly like it was written. If I'm not going to do something with it and make it my own, it's not worth doing.
Yeah.
And so most of the time when I pick a cover, it's probably something so obscure that no one's ever heard it before, and they just think it's one of my songs.
Well, you think of, and then you think about the great covers. I mean, you think about, and I've always I wished, you know, you could see Bob Dylan when he first heard Jimi Hendrix's version of All Along the Watchtower, and it was
Yeah.
like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
I never knew I wrote this song.
Couldn't have been any more different.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's great, and I mean, there's so many cases where, I mean, you know, you think about Without You by Badfinger that Nielsen, you know, takes from being something that sounded fairly mediocre when Badfinger did.
And he turned it into this big soaring thing.
Yeah, it was.
But then on the other end of things, look at like Devo covering I Can't Get No Satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's so completely different and so nerdy and so, but it's great.
Yeah, or I was listening to the Talking Heads cover of Al Green's Take Me to the River the other day, and it was like, you know, it is, I would never imagine ever doing that to Al Green's song,
Yeah,
and it's great.
and it works.
Yeah, it works, and it's like, it's totally different.
And yet it still retains funkiness.
Yeah.
It's funky as it can be.
Yeah.
I like too when you're listening to someone's cover, and you're midway through the first verse, you're trying to figure out what it is. You're like, I know those words. I know those words, but I
yeah.
can't figure out. And then you're like, oh wait, that's this. You know, that's something I've been trying to delve into doing some. It's like I listen to songs and try to think of some like unlikely person that no one would think I would even listen to.
Yeah.
And then like put my own spin on it. So later on I'm gonna reveal some of those. So I kind of got some funny ones. I've been playing them for my friends, and they're kind of like, well, that's didn't expect that coming, but you know, it's just I like that to catch people off guard like that.
Well,
I do too. I like to not have them see it coming.
Well, I remember when Nickel Creek covered a Britney Spears song, and you're like, wait a minute, Fountains of Wayne did the same thing. They did Baby One More Time, and it was like, it's actually a pretty good song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's educational to listen to the pop hits of the day, like listen to a Katy Perry song or you know, something like that, and listen to. I mean, this is me speaking as a recordist, but listen to the way the production is. I mean, it's like her voice is the most central thing, and everything. If anything gets in front of that voice, that's wrong. I mean, it's like that's the way it's done, and so that's. So now I'm recording the Pinklets, and Lucy's voice is just like this amazing thing, and I'm just like, do not let anything get in the way of that voice.
Well, and you know, the way that the Pinklets album that was just released not long ago, I mean, the recording on that I think sounds great because it's like, you know, you make it sparkle, and it sounds like they sound on stage, except in a pristine state.
Well, thanks. I'm glad it came out that way, and I was amazed when they texted me and said, hey, we got 10 new songs we want to do. And I'm like, you just finished an album. You know, but yes, bring it, come on. And they're going to be stars. I'm convinced of it.
Well, let me take a quick break and say that WDVX stays on the air thanks to you. Thanks to everyone who donated during the station's recent fund drive. Be sure to join your friends at WDVX's Listener Appreciation Party on August 24th in Barley's in the ONC for pizza and great music. And let me throw in that you can also, part of that will be the 6 o'clock Swerve Show, and it's going to be great. But you can still make your tax-deductible donation to help offset equipment and transmission costs. Just go to WDVX.com and click the donate page. And thanks for listening to and supporting East Tennessee's own WDVX. And the Bitter Resistors, you guys ready to play some more?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is one called Shut Up and Sing.
Oh yeah, I guess you need that.
The boys and the girls are standing in line, all for a shot at the big time. This may be your one and only shot. This town's got talent, let's see what you got. They don't care where you've been, they don't care where you're going. As long as you got what it takes to keep the cash box growing. They don't care what's in your heart, don't tell them what you think. Go ahead kid, just shut up and sing. Go ahead kid, just shut up and sing. Pat and Cooley kinda lean to the left. The rednecks tell them keep it to yourself. Meanwhile they call the Yankee their Uncle Ted. Burn all the records, boycott the band. Well, the boys from Alabama, they know where they've been. They ain't out to make no bank, they ain't trying to lose no friends. And it sure as hell ain't looking to be the next big thing. You can bet your ass they won't shut up and sing. You can bet your ass they won't shut up and sing. Bad violence in the street, all useless wars. Bad politicians selling like $2. Entire networks, they tell us what to think. And government expressing a different view. Ain't got all the answers, but they're seeking the truth. Their songs of love allow us to be free. So ain't you glad Lyndon didn't shut up and sing? Ain't you glad Dylan didn't shut up and sing? Ain't you glad Woody Guthrie didn't shut up and sing? Ain't you glad